What's going on, everybody? I hope you're doing well. My name is Barba and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a Templar build where basically it's a pure full Templar, but I can show you an option where if you want to subclass, you can subclass. It's a really good build. It's stamina and I think it's a great time. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, and let's just get into it. Alright, so we're on the character screen first. So we have on the front bar, we're sitting at 32,500 health, 26,000 stam, 4,800 weapon and spell damage, 34% crit, 5,700 penetration, 1,500 stam recovery, but you know that that's actually 480 more because Templar gets passive recovery from their armor buff. And then we have resistance-wise, we're sitting at 33 and 32, and then 30, and then 29, and then we get 1,700 crit resist plus whatever we get off of Rallying Cry. Yes, Rallying Cry is what we're using. So yeah, and then when you pop a potion, your recoveries all go up. We're using the Serpent Mundus Stone. We are an Orc. We are Vampire Stage 3. If you want to go to Stage 4, feel free. So yeah, let's get into the gear. Alright. So on the front bar, we are using the Master's Dual Wield. Now, I feel like Stam Templar is one of the only stamina classes that actually doesn't have to use this and be good. Like, there's many opportunities to use other stuff, but I went with it, and honestly, I really like it because I felt like I was doing a lot of sustained damage, but I was lacking like a little bit of a dot pressure. Also, the way I used it as almost like a heal over time because I have I'm using Blood Craze instead of the other one. And I think I like it, actually. So anyways, yeah, Master Dual Wield. I got lucky. I got a Mace and a Sword. I have Nirnhone and I have Sharpen. So yeah, that's what I'm running. And then on the back bar, like I said, we are using a Rallying Cry Ice Staff. If you want to use a Restless Staff, feel free. If you want to use a Sword and Board, also feel free. It is what it is. If you don't know what the Master's Mace does at this point, Twin Slashes does an extra 867 for every tick. It's really good. They used to do more than this. If I'm not mistaken, Twin Slashes used to do an extra 1,500 per hit, but that's okay. 800 is still very good. And then here, like I said, we're using Rallying Cry. So Rallying Cry gives crit chance, max magic, crit chance, and then when you heal and you crit heal, you get 1,600 crit resist and 300 in weapon and spell damage, but then every group member lowers that. So you don't get quite as much out of it. You get a decent amount less if you're in a BG, but still, Rallying Cry it's fantastic. You don't have to run it in a BG though if you don't want, because somebody in there is usually running it. Another option is something like 7th Legion, Clever Alchemist, Mara's Bomb, a lot of stuff. But I'm using Rallying Cry Ice Staff with Sharpened, or I'm sorry, Defending. The reason I'm going Ice Staff, one, it makes my blocking cost magic, and two, when you heavy attack with an Ice Staff, you get a damage shield, and it's also a nice way to get magic back. So, yeah. Alright, and then Gaze of Sith is my Mythic item. I always take this off, use other stuff, and then come right back to it. Gaze of Sith is just good. It's just really good. So, yeah, you get 3,000 health, 1,000 health recovery, which that doesn't matter too much because I'm a vamp, and then 4,000 armor. So 3,300 health and 4,000 armor are like 5-piece sets alone. So it's really good. There's nothing bad to say about it. It's a fantastic item. The only downside is it makes you not able to use a monster set, but in this build, you don't need one. Alright, and then my 5-piece sitting on the body at all times is going to be Venomous. Venomous is actually insane. I never realized how good this set was and how much damage it actually does. It's really good. So, if you don't know what it does, it is giving crit, giving damage, and then when you deal crit damage, which you will, you're going to inflict Hunter's Venom on your enemy. Alright, dealing almost 4,000 poison damage to your enemy and people within 6 meters of them every 2 seconds. And then it has a 5-second cooldown, so it's every 15 seconds. So you get 5 ticks of the 4,000 damage. And then it does AoE damage on top of that, which is really good for like 1vx and you're fighting a group. It's really good. I never realized how good it actually was. It does like just good sustained damage that like sneaks up on you. And it's easy to proc, especially on Templar. Like, Templar is good with crit stuff. They build into crit well because they get extra crit damage. And then we have Stonekeeper as our one piece because you get 500 of every stat, which is just clutch. And then we have Rallying Cry, and then Venomous. So we are using what, three medium, 2 light, and 2 heavy. So it's a pretty overall balanced build. Really good though. And then down here we're using Rallying Cry and Venomous. I have stamina and magic on my stuff. I don't mind it actually. If you want to use Bloodthirsty or Infuse, go ahead. But I actually don't mind building into the max stats. It makes me feel a little better actually. So yeah. If you're gonna see this video today, go buy a Venomous Smite gold ring. By the way, it's in the store right now in Cyrodiil. All right, so the skills. So we're using Camo Hunter. Like I said, crit is very, very good on Templar because if you don't know anything about Templar, you get 12% crit damage just for existing. If you don't know anything about Templar as well, the Adric Spear's passives are absolutely bonkers. They're ridiculous. Like you get 12% crit damage, you get minor berserk, and minor protection. You get burning light that procs like every hit. Every other hit, like your jabs proc burning light like no tomorrow, and then you get a flat 6% damage and armor, which is just insane. So if you know nothing about Templar, this skill line has some absolutely ridiculous passives. So yeah. But anyways, the skill. So Camo Hunter we're using for the crit chance. On top of it, you get minor berserk, which is kind of redundant considering you have it as a passive. So if you don't like it, you could just use Mage Light. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I only have it on my bar for the crit. You also get extra weapon damage for having it slotted. You get 3% weapon damage, so that's not bad either. Not bad at all. And then we're using Quick Cloak. Now, I think Quick Cloak is legitimately one of the best skills in the entire game, and I'm not kidding. This skill is loaded, if you've ever paid attention to dual wield. It makes it to where dual wield can give you everything you need. So it gives you major evasion. If you don't know how insane major evasion is in this game, you're sorely mistaken. Everything in this game is AoE. You're essentially getting not everything, but a lot of stuff in this game is AoE. You're getting 20% damage mitigation to most really good skills in the game. It's insane. On top of it, you're doing 1300 damage every 2 seconds of people around you. And then on top of that, you're getting 30% movement speed for 4 seconds. This skill is ridiculous. Alright, so it gives you a ton of stuff built in. Does damage, major evasion, and movement speed. Phenomenal skill. Really, really good. Here we're using Top Lane Charge. Top Lane Charge is another very loaded skill. It's 1, a gap closer. 2, it's a CC. And on top of that, they set people off balance. It's an insanely good skill. And then on top of that, it's another thing that can proc minor berserk and minor protection. So when you go in, you get minor berserk and minor protection on top of major protection. So you're getting 15% damage mitigation when you cast this skill on top of doing 5% damage, on top of stunning people, on top of it being a gap closer. This skill is ridiculous. I was using Binding Javelin because Binding Javelin can't be blocked and it ignores resistances, so it does a little bit more damage. But I don't like not having the gap closer aspect. Stunning people is cool and all, but the gap closer to me is better. But this skill is loaded, really good. And then we're using Blood Crate. Now, is Rending Slashes objectively better? Yes. But the reason I'm using this is because I don't have a burst heal on this build, so any healing that I can get will make a huge difference for me, which really, really makes things a little easier. And then on top of it, that it does, each thing hits. It's really, really good. It does, 2,000 per hit, so it does 4,000 plus 800, 1,600 more, so over 6,000 damage, and then on top of it they bleed for 11,000, so it's really good. Unfortunately, like I said, it doesn't apply hemorrhaging automatically, but it still can apply hemorrhaging, which is what I like about it as well. So it doesn't definitely apply hemorrhage, but it can. So the hemorrhage isn't insane damage, but it's a decent amount. And then you heal. Like I said, you heal every single time it does any damage at all. So that's really good. It adds up, and it also keeps me alive. And then biting jabs again is another absolutely loaded skill. Age or Spear is insane. So biting jabs is one, a spammable, and it's a very cheap spammable. You stab people 3 times with your spear. The spear deals 3,400 per hit. You stab 3 times. It's doing what? About like 11,000 ish. I don't know. It's also slow when you hit people. You also have a good chance to apply the Sundered status effect, which is going to do more damage and apply Minor Breach. Really nice. And then on top of it, activating the ability gives you Major Brutality and Major Sorcery. So you get even more out of this skill. So you get your damage. And then here we're using Crescent Sweep. Crescent Sweep is ridiculous. It does so much damage. It's so cheap. It costs 77 ultimate, which is essentially nothing. It's kind of like Dawnbreaker in a way, except it doesn't stun. And it does damage around you rather than in front of you. But it does do more damage in front of you. 60% more, which is a very, very thick number. Okay, that's a lot. So this skill can hit for a lot. But if you want to use Dawnbreaker, you may use Dawnbreaker. Either one. And then on the back bar, we're using Restoring Focus. Now another skill line that's busted is Restoring Light. The reason for that is number 1, you get 13% healing when you're low. You also get Minor Mending when you're in your own stuff. And then on top of it, you get extra ultimate when you heal somebody under 50% health. So it's really good. And then you can also block stuff every 15 seconds. So the Restoring Focus gives you your magic or your Major Resolve. And then on top of it, it gives you 400 Age of Recovery. Why is it 400 Age of Recovery? Well, recovery in this game is every 2 seconds. And here, it restores 242 every 1 second, meaning it goes up to 484 recovery. And then down there, you get a heal while you stand in it. See? So look, it heals for 2,700 while you're in it. It heals for 959 while you're not. 2,700 while you're in it. So, really good skill. And then here we have Vigor. You know Vigor. I mean, everyone knows it. Everyone uses it. It's really good. You get Minor Resolve, and you get an insanely good Hot. And then we're using Power of Light. Power of Light is really, really good. I am this is like a flex spot to me. This is where I would say you have a couple choices. You can either use Power of the Light for extra burst damage, and also applies Sundered, which is good. You can use Solar Barrage for sustained damage, which is solid. You don't have to activate it as much, so it's less to pilot. So 22 seconds long, does damage over time. It increases your class abilities by 5%, which is pretty freaking good. Or you can even go the other route and then you can go Ardent Flame. And then what you can do is replace a couple things. So you can put Poison Breath in for Elemental Susceptibility. And then you can put Searing Strike in for Solar Barrage. Up to you. I like this setup better. I think it's just easier. Also, it helps my sustain a little better, I think. So that's how I feel about it. Also, I kind of like the passives here. You get a lot of ultimate, you get extra damage, so you also get cost reduction, which is nice. But right now I'm using Power of the Light. I like it so far. We'll see. Here you have Extended Ritual. If you don't want to use Extended Ritual, you can use the other version of Ritual, but I think this version is just way better. One, you need all the healing you can get. Like I said, you don't have a burst heal. So you have this heal over time, you have this heal over time, you have this heal over time, and then you have this heal over time. So you do have a lot of healing, but it's all over time. So you do want to try to use this version of it if you can. Also, it heals your allies, and it cleanses 5 effects, which is crazy. And then, like I said, you're using Elemental Susceptibility. Now, if you don't want to use Elemental Susceptibility, you can just throw on Razor Caltrops. But I think Susceptibility is more consistent. Caltrops is cool. It does damage to everybody around, which is really nice. But I think it's a little bit less reliable. Also, Susceptibility is free, which is insane. So, yeah. And then here we're using Practice Incantation for a big fat heal. It's not great. Honestly, there's probably better options. Like, I would probably use the Undo from the Sigic Order, or like even maybe Blood Scion you could throw in there. There's a couple things you could do. The Barrier, you could throw whatever you want on there, or go the other route and use the Resto Staff and then use Life Giver. Like, whatever you want to do, you can do. But I'm using this for now, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that is the skills. Let me know what you think of the skills down below, and I'll show you the CP. But I don't play much CP, so I don't really care. So extra damage to direct damage, extra single target damage, reduced damage taken, and then we're using just flat damage. And then here we have armor, 5% damage reduction, extra recovery, and reduces damage taken for negative effects. So that's what I'm running. Let me know what you guys think down below. I think this build's solid. So yeah, hope you have a good day, and peace out.